What's going on, team? It's Caddy with Money Vesting. I hope that you all are having an amazing day. Here today we're going to do some technical analysis on the S&P 500 index, ticker symbol SPX. We will look at the daily time frame, then we'll look into the 1 hour time frame to understand those key support and resistance levels and map out where the pattern can potentially go going into next week. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps out with the channel and recommends this video to other people who might be interested in watching. Also subscribe and make sure that you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future market updates and videos related to investing and technical breakdowns. So the market essentially rallied today close to over 1% for the S&P 500 index. Nasdaq was up over 65 basis points and the Dow Jones rallying close to 1.5%. So the tech sector did pull back just a little bit. So PayPal, Microsoft, Apple all pretty much pulled back a little bit today. But that being said, Tesla and Amazon, again, two leaders that are essentially driving the markets higher. Tesla closing in on over $1,500 per share. I think it was up over 10 or 11%. And Amazon, again, rallying close to about, I think, $3,200 per share. So if you've been following up with any of my previous market updates, you have a really good understanding on where those levels sit. But the market essentially rallied based on the catalyst that Gilead Sciences came out with their treatments for COVID-19. And that was the fuel that the markets needed to close and break out of 3180, which we had recognized as a previous level of resistance due to the fact that this right here is the daily candle. So going back as far as Monday, July 6th, you guys can see that we hit a high of 3182 and then essentially pulled back the next day, hitting a high of 3184. The following day, which was a Wednesday, July 8th, we hit a high of 3171. And then yesterday, which was a Thursday, we hit a high of 3179. So today, we hit a high of 3186 and we closed well above our resistance of 3185. Again, just to be a little bit more precise. So now moving forward, I feel like every time we do dip down below to 3140 to 3130 level, the buyers just come in and they drive the markets higher. It's happened the last 3 days. And you guys can go back as far as July 8th when we hit a low of 3136. So like the pattern was essentially down to this level and then the bulls came in and pushed the markets higher. And even yesterday, we hit a low of 3115 all the way down here. So if I were to make the candle for you, at one point during yesterday, this right here was the candle that was being formed. Like if you looked at that pattern, like this is a really scary looking candle. And this right here was a candle that was formed during the early hours into the trading session yesterday. So the buyers came in and they essentially pushed the candle up higher and then we closed at 3152. Now that happened again today. Like I was watching the pattern for the first couple hours and we hit a low of 3136. And then the markets essentially pushed up, the bulls came in and we closed at 3185. So this level right here, which we've previously recognized as a bear camp, I'm going to switch that over to a bull camp because in my opinion, the past couple of days, the momentum that we have seen, it's just been really buyer's market. Like people have been buying this thing up every time we see a minor dip or a minor pullback. So the S&P essentially pushes up every time we even approach the 3100 to 3115, 3120 levels. So you can see how the bodies of these three candles essentially lie very aligned with the wicks of these three candles right here. So the only thing we need to kind of understand and wait for is where the markets open on Monday. If we open above 3185, there's a very high chance that we fill this gap right here. And this is going to be the higher high that the pattern has been making from a more grand scheme of things. So if you were to pull back on the chart, you can see how going back as far as May 2019, this has been kind of like the higher lows that the pattern was making and bouncing off of these levels before hitting a high, all-time high of close to 3,400. And then of course we sold off all the way down to March lows. But before we did that, we broke below this higher low and then pushed up to revalidate this previous higher low as an ongoing resistance. So that was acting as a resistance. We sold off even further, and then this right here, this huge bounce all the way up to 3,200, we got rejected from that higher low again. So that old higher low is now starting to act as a new higher resistance. So we sold off, and now we can very well retrace back to that level, which represents a jump of close to 2.5 to 2.7% at around the 3275 level. But that being said, this right here is going to remain our more near-term resistance at 3200, 3230 to be more precise, which sits right here. So if I were to go ahead and put a trend line right there, this right here is what the level we are watching on the daily time frame to kind of like fill that gap, and that's going to be a jump of close to 1.5% if the markets do open higher on Monday. And if they continue to trade in between this 3180, and if we get rejected again, and if we consolidate in between this range, then we know and we understand that 3115 being a very clear level of support, and the 3150 level kind of acting as a really good level of support as well, because the bodies for these 4 candles have essentially just, every time we approach that level, it was pushed up by the bulls. So those are some levels that we need to watch very closely. Now we're going to jump over to the 1 hour chart to understand the price action on a more intraday level. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this chart up just so we get a better understanding on the price action and how the pattern performed today. So to give you guys a quick recap, this right here was previously acting as our resistance because we have gone rejected at that level multiple times, and that has also acted as previous support. So today we did break out of that level, and we in fact closed even higher than 3185. That being said, 3115 remains our really key level of support, and I now am identifying this level right here, which has previously acted as resistance at 3155, as now being a level of support, because this right here is where the pattern opened at 9:30, and then we essentially broke out of that level and then continue to push up. So we didn't have a single 1 hour candle in the red, right? This right here was at 11:30, but that's the only candle that was in the red, but everything else was just a green day, just pattern just pushing up all the way to 3185. So from a support standpoint, I don't think the pattern is going to retrace down to 3,000, which is the bull camp, which is the strongest bull camp we've seen, and that's also kind of like where the 200-day moving average is going to be, right around 3,033. So that has previously acted as a really good level of demand and support, but we did rally all the way up to 3180. Now if you do pull back, these are the 2 support levels that I'm going to personally be watching for a good dip buying opportunity. I personally don't think we're going to retrace 3,000 because that's going to be a drop of well over almost 6%. And in the market environment that we're in, where essentially the Fed is there to backstop every move of the markets, and there's more and more buyers coming in, and the tech sector essentially driving the markets to near all-time highs and breaking out of these levels, it's very difficult for anyone who is trying to short the market to bet against the market that we're in, because there's just so much buying momentum right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed my quick technical breakdown. To give you guys a quick recap, 3230 is our next clear level of resistance. If we do open on Monday higher than 3185, then we have room to run of close to 1.5 to 2%. But if we do get rejected by 3180 once again, because that has previously acted as strong resistance, you guys can see going back where we have gone rejected at that level, then 3155 as a very clear level of support, because every time we do approach that level, the buyers just come in and push the markets higher. So that's something that I will be personally watching very closely. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps out with the channel, and recommend this video to other people who might be interested in watching. Make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, happy investing, and I will see you guys in the next video.